Hey guys, I'm not doing my usual cheery intro because I am going to talk about something that I want to bring light. I've originally wanted to make a funny, lighthearted story time video, and this thing kept on coming across my YouTube pages and everybody talking about it, and I just thought I'd give my own thing while watching this video. If you're not aware of the Mika Stauffer situation with their boy that they adopted, that they returned, and they had an audacity to make a video victim blaming themselves for doing whatever they're trying to keep themselves to sleep better at night, to tell themselves that what they did was right. In a way, it was right because you did that little boy a favor by returning him. Because let's just get into it.
So this is by far the hardest video.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is the hardest video you ever had to make.
James and I have ever publicly had to make. But before I get into the video, I did just want to say thank you to how amazing.
If there are actually people out there who supported them for what they did, I seriously doubt, because a lot of the videos that were talking about how people were ripping into them for doing such a thing, I really doubt anybody gave them support. But if there are, you're just, I don't know how you could support that. We'll get into what, like,
Our viewers have been. We have some viewers who have been just like so incredibly kind and respectful of our son's privacy. I just want to say thank you. Like, that really got me through some really hard times.
oh, here comes the waterworks.
You have no idea what that means to me, and some of the special messages that you've sent. Like, just thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I can't say
This
enough
is
how
just
hard Micah has
disgusting.
tried throughout this entire journey, and the amount of effort she's put into this and helping Huxley as much as she can. So I mean, you guys have been part of this adoption journey even before, we picked up Huxley throughout the whole process. And with international adoption, sometimes there's unknowns and things that are not transparent on files and things like that. And once Huxley came home, there was a lot more special needs that we weren't aware of, and that we were.
I heard that wasn't true. Um, I don't. I heard that wasn't true. Because even there's like this video where she says that when they adopted him, that it literally went through one ear and the other. So what the hell would they know what wasn't given to them? For all we know, everything was given to them, but she fucking decided to make it. I can only imagine. Forget the whole adoptive situation. My friend Diamia, may she rest in peace, her mom, she's been diagnosed with so many cancers starting from the age of 3. 3 years old. Imagine living most of your life in pain and in struggle. And this was her biological mom. This is like she gave birth to Dima. I could just only imagine that things being different. At the age of 3, a doctor tells her that her daughter has all these kinds of cancers, only for her to be like disowning, like, at first bringing her daughter in because that's her daughter, and being like, well, this is my daughter, like, and then being like, oh, it's too much to handle giving her pills or keeping tabs on her at all times because at any point her oxygen could be low of charging needs to be charged and I'm not there to save her. Like, it's too much, I'm giving her away to someone else. Just imagine that. And this is just a biologic, because like people have been talking about how he's adoptive and that's why it didn't make any difference, which we'll get into like why that's also kind of a thing in this situation as well. But like even with it doesn't even matter. Even imagine like giving birth to a kid and then they have all these problems and then this doctor's trying to tell you that your kid has these issues and you're just saying the fact that you're just proudly or not proudly just out there just being able to say it with no shame at all that it went through one year and out the other because that's my yeah, but also that's your kid, you want to protect it. So if it means that you have to listen to what you have to do in order to try to make things better for this kid that has this situation, whether it's cancer or autism or whatever. I mean, this is just, she's ridiculous. Look at her freaking face. Get out of here.
Told. So over the past few years,
Disgusting.
Huxley's been in numerous therapies to try to help him with all of his needs. And over the last year has been a more intense therapy that he's been in to try to help him as much as possible with his severe needs. And for us, it's been really hard hearing from the medical professionals a lot of their feedback and things that have been upsetting, really upsetting for us because
on top of that, that other video that I was just talking about too, where she was talking about this, the whole adoption process, where there was like, what was it, a nurse or a doctor was like, she was saying how she was recommending that they wouldn't adopt him because for this reason that they gave him up in the first place, that it was too much for them to handle. She wasn't sure if it was the right thing. But instead, they decided, fuck it, we're gonna do whatever we want. Like, she's saying, oh, she's discouraging. She's discouraging you for a reason. She was smart. She freaking knew. And no thanks to you, now that kid unnecessarily got scarred because you didn't have the gall to try to pick to try to move forward and find another kid that maybe didn't have a lot of issues that you could handle. Disgusting. No thanks.
We've never wanted to be in this position, and we've been
trying. Oh no,
to
he's gonna bring out the
get his
waterworks.
needs met and help him out as much as possible. It's really hard, isn't it? We truly love him.
Right. You loved him enough to give him
an
up.
ounce of our body
Actually, you know what though? Like I said, like they did that boy a favor. Now he can be into a family that will actually not give up on him for when things get hard. Part of like the reason too people were saying that they gave him up because he has these issues where he has behavioral issues. And I guess it was too much to handle because she couldn't discipline a kid. How could you discipline a kid who's already been scarred? He's been neglected, abandoned before, and you just did it all over again. Now the next family he's in, who will actually give a fuck about him, he'll question. It's the only amount of time before they give me up and I have to go to another family. That trust now is just... Once is bad enough. Twice? A lot of times people have this thought, you forget about it. Can't trust anybody.
Over me, there wasn't a minute that I didn't try our hardest, and
you didn't try hard enough. Because if you would have, you wouldn't be giving up this kid. Returning him as if he's some jacket that you don't, with a receipt that you don't want anymore. Like, he's just discardable.
I think what Jim's trying to say is that after multiple assessments, after multiple evaluations, numerous medical professionals have felt that he needed a...
I don't know what you think parenting is. You think it's all fun and games? You have 4 kids. You had 5. No thanks to you, you gave up one of them. You got 4 other fucking kids. You should know damn well that it's all not rainbows and unicorns, but I guess because your kids, your biological kids, are healthy, that you didn't even think. I just go back to, like, what I said before, where it's like, imagine a parent, like, having a healthy kid. Okay, now this is a situation where she has a healthy kid, but then somewhere along the way, something happened and she ended up getting cancer. You think the mom's just gonna be like, oh, I mean, if she's a good-ass mom, she won't give up her kid or just give up on her kid. Oh, that's it, she has cancer, it's over. They'd fight to see what they can do to try to help their daughter or son fight through this. You know what they did? They realized how much they thought they can handle, then they took on more than they could fucking handle. And now, after everything, for nothing, they took him in only to get him back out there again.
different fit in his medical needs. He needed more.
We haven't made this
Yeah,
video yet.
yeah.
It's because...
You know what? And maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. That's how it is sometimes. I know plenty of people who have siblings who are special needs, and they know how it is. And their parents always have to give them more attention than their kid. Just a little more. Not too much. But also that's the thing that you have to deal with when you have a kid who's not healthy, who has a lot of issues. You can't just ignore that, and you can't just give them up, because now, like, it's just like when you marry someone and there's that vow where it's like, I promise to be with you in sickness and in health, like through your bad times and not just your good times. That's the same thing with your children. You can't just only want them when they're at their best. Shit happens. We're all humans. And you have to be there for your kid, and you weren't there for him. And now you're sitting up in here crying. Get out of here.
We've been trying to protect his privacy, his rights, and also just try to not mess up his future.
That's another thing that people pointed out, that they keep saying that. But up until this video, they have been posting all that stuff. And then at some point they stopped, because when they gave him up and people were questioning where the hell he was, they deleted everything that had to do with him, as if that will just erase everything and make it go away. I mean, it's just like catching someone in the act when you're dating someone and they cheat on you and they're just out here like, you're just gonna pretend like you're like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. That didn't just happen. As if I didn't just see and you just denying. We're supposed to pretend now because you deleted everything? That was all in our heads?
It was laid out in front of us. We're trying our best to make sure we don't impact that at all by making this video. And
that's why, like, on Instagram and stuff, I've tried to, like, let you know as little as I could, but I couldn't tell you anymore because
more waterworks.
I didn't want to mess anything up with what's going on legally. And if I said something, was I going to mess up things for his future?
You already messed him up when you made the decision to go against the professionals. What is it called? When you went against the professionals' orders and adopted him just to give him away again. And you made money off of this kid. And it's ironic too, because that video you were saying that he's unreturnable, and yet you returned him.
And it's just been a really hard place to be in, like, because you're grieving. I want to share with you guys,
You're grieving. It's all about you. Imagine how that kid feels right now. He thought he had a permanent home. Imagine just sitting there and feeling how wrong you were. Feeling stupid for even thinking that someone could keep you, even though it's not stupid to believe that. But no thanks to you. That's how he's feeling right now. I'm sure.
I know deep down inside that I don't have to say anything. Like, I don't have to say this. I don't have to, but I want to. Like, I want to tell you, you guys have been there for us for so much, and I want to feel.
You don't have to, you want to. We know you want to. It's all about you.
You in on what's going on and what hard. Like, do I feel like a failure as a mom? Like, 500%.
Good.
So,
because you are. I don't care how you treat the rest of your kids. The minute someone takes in a child, whether it's adoptive or they gave birth, and they just give them up, not for good reason. Oh, they can't afford to take care of a kid, or they want them to get a better life, or they're a teenager that can't deal with momhood. No, it's just, it was too much to handle. You've failed as a mom. Because it's not. But in a way, it's for his good. But, oh no, let's be real. You didn't give him up for his good. You gave him up for your good. You couldn't handle.
So when you get, like, insidious, hurtful comments, it just, like, really makes it hurt worse. It's not about me at all, but it's just, like, this journey has been...
It's not about me at all, but it's about me.
The last couple months have been, like, the hardest thing I could have ever imagined choosing to do, because ultimately, after pouring our guts and our heart into this little boy.
The reason why we can't go into detail of what actually transpired is because we're truly going to protect Huxley's privacy and not let people know what happened, everything that went on.
To make us make this decision, or to even come to medical professionals with the need to get more help. Anything that happened in the home that was hard for Hux, that's not fair for me to put out there publicly. That's his privacy. So
there's this thing about, like, how they binded his hands behind his back as punishment for sucking his thumb, only to hear that the rest of his siblings, they didn't do that, and they also sucked their thumb. They just did what normal parents do to try to get their child to give up on sucking their thumb. But with him, they binded his hands. Which, that comes from earlier when I was saying part of it has to do with it's something about your adoptive child. Somehow people treat them differently. Literally the only thing that's different from an adoptive child versus a child that you actually birthed is that you didn't birth them. But when you take on the responsibility of adopting a kid, they are just as much your child as your biological one. And I think that's just fucking disgusting. And they want to sit here and say that they would do the same thing if they're...
that's not appropriate. Like, and that'll never be appropriate. I didn't adopt a little boy to share these things publicly. Every now and then you may have gotten like a
And you shared him publicly. But oddly enough, you say that you didn't adopt him for that reason, but you did that and then you just gave him up after all of that. So technically, yeah, you did. At this point, whether it's true or not, like, that's what you did.
teeny like struggle or like a hardship when I was trying to be like really raw and real, but we haven't intentionally, like day one, intentionally 95% of the struggles we have never publicly aired, ever, with pure intent of respecting his privacy, not to give you a fake facade.
That's how YouTube is. And it is fake and facade. Because for the longest time when people were asking you what happened to him, you've been deleting comments asking about him. Don't tell me about how y'all aren't fake or facade. You're only that for doing such a thing. Like,
or to be lack of transparency, but to respect our son's privacy. And this is all that we're okay with sharing. The reason we haven't updated you sooner is because the medical professionals, the agencies, multiple
This is not about just not updating people. Like I said, you deleted comments asking. You saw them, you said nothing. You could, even if you didn't want to give it away, you couldn't even say, now is not the time. Like, I know everybody has a lot of questions, but now is not the time. We'll come out with the video later. Nothing. You deleted anything that had to do with him to make it go away and pretend like you didn't just adopt him or anything.
I've been
You tried
allowing
to
for
pretend.
Huxley to spend time with some different people to see and to make the perfect match and fit for his now new forever family. From the updates we've gotten
Disgusting
from the
how she
agency
just says
and
that.
through the adoption agency, like they were able to place him.
Like, it's just
in what they felt
something
was
she
literally
passed on.
the
This is
perfect
his
match.
new
Like
forever
Jimmy
family.
said earlier when we got hugs, we didn't know a lot of these unknowns, and when agencies or adoption agencies have more pieces to the pie, or they have more pieces, it makes the matching process a little
You were
better,
supposed to
or a
be his
healthier
forever
match.
family.
And they found somebody that they felt
Because
would
that's
be
what you said. He was
ultimately
unreturnable.
the best fit, and he is thriving. He is very happy. He's doing really well, and
Yeah,
his
no
new mommy
thanks to
has
you.
medical professional training, and it is a very good fit.
And I ask everyone that watches this video, that supports our family,
I don't
give us
support you
grace,
guys.
give us the support and the privacy that we
I didn't
need
know
during this
about you
time
guys
for
until
ourselves
you've
and
been
for
popping
Huxley.
up all
Please
over
just
my
respect
feed.
his
But
privacy, and just know that, like, we may come on socials, like for my channel, the reason I started my channel is to be positive and to bring people positivity, even though we're struggling, and that when we talk about Hux, it's a huge win for us.
sounds like one of those people pointed this out, like one of those people that go on a trip to India and think that they're all mindful now just because they went to a couple of places in India, went to the Taj Mahal, took off their shoes, did a little bit of yoga and meditation, and now you're cultured. And try to do this thing where you adopt these kids, or you're saying that you're like doing some kind of project and just to try to make yourself feel good, but you're not actually doing anything to help people. And that's exactly what she sounds like. Spread positivity. Positivity, my fucking ass. Fuck you.
Just because I may be positive on my stories or be having fun, doing something fun, doesn't mean that I'm not like still horribly hurting. And the same for Jim. So like, just please have grace with us, because even though we don't share
no
that
grace
publicly,
here.
we are still struggling. I mean, we're gonna be heartbroken for a very long time. So
I'm sure.
thank you
That's why you're planning trips to Bali and shit, right? You are so heartbroken.
everything, and we just really appreciate
Honestly, how
all of your support and
stupid
kindness.
do
But
you
just
think everybody
please
is?
respect our privacy.
I respect his too.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. I was gonna do a story time about how I went on a freaking coffee date with this weirdo from my high school on another summer course that I was taking at my university. And then this stuff kept on popping up. I had to say something. I'm not a mom, but this is not. This is disturbing. Everything from the start was just off about it. I mean, I can't. You know, I had a dream that this kid was grown up and he actually remembered. Even though I don't know how old he was, but that's really doubtful that he would remember as part of his life. But I had a dream last night actually that he was grown up and he was in the family that was actually, and he actually remembered and he got fucked up over it. And the people were like constantly, it was just like a constant thing. They were trying to reassure him that they're like not like his previous family. But because of what happened, they're like, yeah, he doesn't trust them. Like, I had that dream. I don't know if it's because from last night before I went to bed, I was binge watching all of this. But, yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. I really hope he won't remember when he grows up more. But it's just something that sucks to, like, you don't want. I don't know though. It's just, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I had to say what I could while pausing the video, and that's it. My mom would do everything for us.